Hi, I'm Jacqueline Leapheart. Welcome to the Max Loves Midland show.
Hi, welcome back to the Max Loves Midland show. I'm your weekly tour guide, Kevin LeDuc, and this is episode number 22. Now, our guests this week, you might know them from Adoption Option, Midland Motoring Rotary, the MBA Ambassador Program, Window Still Real Estate, the Delta Sigma Theta Sorority, or maybe you're one of her followers. You could follow her at Joy with Jax on TikTok. Welcome. So happy to have you here with us today, Jacqueline.
So happy to be here, Kevin.
Awesome. This is Jacqueline Leapheart, and we've been looking forward to this episode for a while, and I always keep people that I know can come on the show in a pinch in my back pocket. So I literally got a hold of you like 2 days ago. So we're going to have a lot of fun, and I think this is going to be a good time.
Yeah, I'm excited.
And this is a first for the Max Loves Midland show. You brought your own heart-shaped glasses.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of live for red. Red's kind of my color. I have an addiction to red. I'm not going to lie.
And it's not uncommon, like I'll walk into a room and it's like, I'll see a beautiful red dress across it. I'm like, oh, it's my friend Jackie. Always stunting in red. It is your thing.
So, yeah, my boyfriend actually got me these heart glasses for Valentine's Day when you were in Joann's Fabrics, picking out fabrics, doing some stuff, and creative stuff's our jam. And I saw these glasses and I was like, babe. And he was like, only you.
And marketing folks are always on brand, so it just fit with this perfectly.
And then, but Leapheart and Leapheart. So I mean, the heart. It's just kind of it's a whole brand, you know.
Hey, absolutely, and
I love the hearts,
and we love good style on here. Sometimes people come through the studio and it's like, oh man, we're really doing it today, and today's one of those days. So really excited to have you on, and you're involved in so much, and I think each one of your days looks a little bit different. And we'll talk, and you could be all over the state shooting real estate photography. You could be here in Midland. So I mean, what keeps you running? Like, how are you involved in so many things?
I think it's good home training, actually. My mom is a fierce role model. She's a fierce, amazing woman that does so much. She has 3 full-time jobs. I only have 2, and one's part-time. So I'm over here slacking. Just not
pull it together. Come on now,
not doing enough. But no, she and she excels at all of them. She runs the nonprofit that I work at, Adoption Option Inc., and she teaches business law at Northwood. Students love her. She is not an easy professor. She comes to teach you business law. She is a lawyer, and she is not going to send you out there unprepared. So, and then she also coaches the mock trial team. And they are a national award-winning mock trial team. So, I see her do so much. And then she has a pickleball addiction. Like I have a red addiction, she has a pickleball addiction. This woman loves to play pickleball.
Oh, I see her at the community center. Yes. She definitely has a pickleball addiction.
Yes, she loves to play pickleball. I mean, if she could just live in the pickleball courts, my dad said we'd never be able to pull her home. He's like, maybe I should just build a pickleball court,
What's so cool, and we'll talk a little bit about Give Local Midland later on, but I know Adoption Option has a fundraiser coming up around the pickleball tournament.
Yes.
And it's just awesome for her because it's like helping out an endowment fund at the community foundation while at the same time getting to do something she absolutely loves.
Yeah.
So, and then suckers you into it, I'm sure you got to go play too then.
Somehow mom fell in love with pickleball, then Adoption Option had a pickleball fundraiser. I don't know how that happened.
Strange. Do you ever give it to mom on the court, or does she have you?
Oh, mom is pretty serious. She used to be a state ranked racquetball champion back in the day, in the good old days before she had kids, and then even after she had kids, we'd sit in the dungeons of the racquetball places down there with those balls. Just yeah, I mean those people. It was terrifying because I mean these people hit those balls they were trying to crack it open, and they did sometimes. It was terrifying. But no, she was an award-winning racquetball player. So she mostly has me. There are some times when I just randomly get a shot and I'm like, yeah, and she looks at me like
get that off your chest, okay?
Okay, all right. Is that what? Okay, that's what we're doing. All right. Yeah, me and my mom are very competitive. It's the best. I love competing with my mom because I know it's all in good fun, and I know that she's pushing me to be better, and I'm pushing her to be better. I'm on a weight loss journey right now, and she's been so supportive of it through it. Both my parents have, all my entire family. They've been so supportive. And sometimes we do competitions with the family and stuff like that to help each other with the weight loss and stuff like that. So competition's definitely always been a big thing in my family. We were always into sports growing up and things like that. So we love a good competition.
Yeah, and it's funny that you were always into sports growing up because I would consider you one of Midland's greatest cheerleaders. And that's true, though. You are a cheerleader, or you were a cheerleader. I mean, you're just a cheerleader in a different world now. But that wasn't all you were involved in growing up. You were involved in so many different things. And when we talked, I don't want to miss anything, but soccer, I think you said softball, baseball. You were all over the place with different sports, track.
Fleet feet was in the good old days. Dolphins, I was a swimmer. I loved swimming. I lived in Plymouth Pool during the summer, lived in that pool. I mean, we were there at 5 a.m. For early morning practice. We were there for evening practice. And then sometimes we go during the day to not practice, to just have fun in the pool.
Well, and that brings up a point. You offer really interesting perspectives of living in Midland because sometimes we have people on the show and they just moved here for work, or myself transplanted from a smaller town nearby, or moved here after college. But you're really Midland through and through, and you were part of Midland Public Schools all the way through your childhood.
Born and raised.
What was your journey like going up through your schools?
Kevin, you know this is emotional for me.
I know. We'll pour some out.
So I went to Montessori, that is still alive and well today and doing great, serving the children. And then sadly,
I know it's a tough one.
I went to Cook School. And Cook School is no longer standing. Our playground's still there, but they took my baby.
Do you ever go back and visit, take a little peek at the playground?
Literally, I live around the corner. I go and sit in that parking lot all the time. If I'm having a bad day, I will go, sit on those swings and just swing, and life will make sense again. Everything will be okay. I am still a Cook School kid. I love Cook School. I miss Cook School. I miss the ice cream socials. We used to have great ice cream socials. Oh, the good old days. Okay. Moving on. I went to Jefferson for middle school. Go Huskies. I was a swimmer there, and I ran track. Coach Seeberger was my coach, and then I went to Dow High. Go Chargers! Forever a Charger. I, as Kevin alluded to, did become a cheerleader in high school, and I have this serious problem, Kevin. Okay.
Yeah.
So we go to MBA every month for Wake Up Midland, and there we say the Pledge of Allegiance. We sing, you know, Home of the Brave, right?
Yeah.
Well, when we were in high school, at the end of every national anthem, instead of saying Home of the Brave, we'd say Home of the Chargers. And so,
was this an official thing or just the students?
No, literally the entire chorus rang out at every game, every home game, every stadium at Midland High, Home of the Chargers, every school assembly, everything. And so it is literally so hard for me to not just yell Home of the Chargers.
Which is really surprising because being your friend, you never have this, you never want to impulsively yell or get involved like that.
Not, no. But and then especially around the time of the Midland Dow game when everyone's heavy, acting ridiculous, we're all still in high school.
Wearing their sports gear to Wake Up Midland.
Right. Then I truly, it takes everything that I have not to just yell Home of the Chargers. One day.
Well, and I think a lot of that is because of all that cheerleader training. And
it might have been.
You've had a lot of interesting coaches across all sports growing up and people that are still in the community and very active.
Yeah.
But our friend of the show, Kathy Snyder, I know that she was your cheer coach.
Yes.
And she has now graduated to be one of Midland's biggest cheerleaders as well.
Yes.
So.
Coach Snyder was my cheer coach. She was the varsity cheer coach when I came in as a sophomore and made the freshman team. And she mentored and coached our coaches and mentored and coached us from a varsity level. And one day I was lucky enough to make varsity, and it was one of the most amazing experiences ever to just be in her presence on a regular basis. I mean, if you spent any time with Coach Snyder, you know that she's just this positive light force that doesn't stop.
Still is.
She's just this amazing, and I know that I keep calling her Coach Snyder, and I know that I'm 20 years out of high school, and one day I'm going to be able to use her first name, but it's not today, okay? So, but yeah, Coach Snyder was this wonderful, amazing light force, and I just feel like when she graduated and retired from being Dow's cheer coach, she couldn't not be a cheer coach, so she had to become like Midland's cheer coach. So like now, like doing well-being, she's literally like Midland's go-to, cheerleader, and I feel like it's such a great place for her. And I also, one of my soccer coaches was County Prosecutor J.D. Brooks. Let me tell you, you think that man's tough as a county prosecutor? Has nothing as to what he was as a soccer coach, sir. He had us together. We were running sprints. We were doing drills. He was serious at Cook School.
It was tight.
At Cook School.
It was tight. Oh, he had it on lock at Cook School.
On lock at Cook School. Anyways, we're gonna come back. But anyways, no, Coach Brooks was great. He was wonderful, and we love to reminisce about that when we see each other. I'm like, you don't want to mess with the county prosecutor, but you definitely don't want to mess with that soccer coach.
Absolutely not. And the thing is, too, speaking of extracurriculars, this is, and we have similar stories in terms of how we really got into our careers, at least found our passions in those spaces.
Right.
So I had 4 years of yearbook class. Basically, my job is doing yearbook class now half the time when I'm making an annual report. So it's kind of nice to translate that into what you have experience with. But you were really involved with photography and journalism.
Yeah.
And so was that something you always knew you wanted to do, or was it really kind of came into it at that time period?
No, I definitely came into it in high school. I took my first journalism class with Betsy Rao, and she was an amazing woman that irreparably changed my life course. She was the first one to put a camera in my hand because she needed a quick photo, and I happened to, it was a God thing, obviously, because it was a swimming photo, and I was a swimmer my entire life, and so I knew what to look for and got water droplets and things like that. And she was like, "Wow, this is a great photo. Do you wanna try a spot on the paper?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And the rest is history. I fell hard and fast for photography, and I loved the whole paper. I loved the layout and the design and the fonts. My parents, it drives them nuts to this day. Because if we're in a long car ride, I will literally start telling them fonts. I'll be like, "That's Georgia. That's Hobo Standard. That's," and they're like, "Literally, shut up." So, who knows this stuff?
Well, we're not doing a draft later on, but if we were, I would have Helvetica. You got to go Helvetica #1. They made whole documentaries about Helvetica. So
I'm not the parents know I'm not the only one. Kevin has a documentary on a
listen. Hey, it's fire though. I'll send it over to you. You gotta watch it.
Yeah.
Make your boyfriend watch the doc on Helvetica.
I mean, he does graphic design, so he might like it.
He's like, I've seen it.
I've seen it.
I've seen it. It was great.
That was great.
That's wonderful. And so now you're still doing photography, whether that's with Window Still or obviously with Adoption Option.
Yeah.
So after high school, you went away. You had some stints in different places. So where did you move to out of Midland? I mean, I know you came home, and Midland's always been home, but what did your time away look like?
I went to Bowling Green, Kentucky, and attended Western Kentucky University for photojournalism. They were top 5 in the country, so I started out my journey there. And then I came back and graduated from Central Michigan. And then I went to Northwood after that and graduated from there with a second bachelor's in advertising marketing management. And then I started at Adoption Option and did photography there. I worked there for a couple years. I went to Davison, worked in Flint at the Boys and Girls Club for a little while. Always loved
rewarding work,
helping children. It was AmeriCorps, so it was great.
Hey, it's AmeriCorps week right now.
Oh, really?
Absolutely.
That's wonderful.
Well, at least when we're recording this. So last week was AmeriCorps week, everyone.
Yeah. So, and then I also moved to Memphis for work for a little while and had a lot of different experiences there. Memphis is clearly a big city, and I'm a Midland girl, born and raised. So that was a very different experience. But I also did learn that big cities are not really big cities. They're big cities made up of small cities. So
Still collections of
yeah,
communities.
There's still Midlands out there. Like there's a place in Memphis called Germantown, and it's a little bit smaller and more middle class and stuff like that. It's and my great aunt lives there, and so she stayed with her when I first got there, and so I was able to. It didn't feel quite as Memphis after I moved out and had my own place. Then it was Memphis because then I was like, she'd be like, oh, just go to the grocery store down here, and then like I'd Google the grocery store and be like, oh, it's only 2 miles, and then I'd be in Mississippi, and I'd be like,
you go across the bridge.
How did I? But I was in the. Yeah, so you can't just be Googling 2 miles in different states where you don't know where you're located at because Tennessee borders like 15 different states and next in like every direction.
You're going over the bridge and you're looking down at the Bass Pro Shop pyramid and you're like, okay, great, I'm crossing over now.
Like, wait a minute, why is every state...
Yeah, like what is going
why
on
is
here?
Every state under the Mason-Dixon line connected to Tennessee? Like all at once. And all in Memphis, like nowhere else on Tennessee. It's all in Memphis. It was like, so Memphis was definitely an interesting experience because it was big, and there was so many different types of communities. There was like a artsy community, and there was like a music community, and there was like there was different types of. There was like a foodie community. So there was just like all sorts of different types of community. And so I was really able to I'm very artsy and I love music and, I love different types of things and I'll try anything once, So I got to experience a lot of different eclectic things. But, then at some point I was kind of like, I miss Midland.
Well, and you missed home and mom and dad are still here and your friends are here and your connections are here. And
my church is here.
Your church is here. And now that you've been back, I know that you're still spending time out in the community and doing things. And right now, I know you have a little bit of an addiction to the Midland Center for the Arts.
Yes.
And we recently had Alex Woody on and we talked about the Infinite.
Yes.
Would that have something to do with it?
Oh, it does. Let me tell you, if you have not been to the Infinite, get up off the couch right now, as soon as you're finished listening to this podcast, and go. Because it is amazing. It is absolutely a life-changing, mind-blowing event. Like it is, it's indescribable. I am trying and I am failing miserably because once you go, you will see that there are no words that can possibly, you'll want a camera, you'll want a video camera, but you
can't do it.
You can't because it's all in your head. And it's very sad that it's all in your head. But like you put on these VR goggles and then you just are transported to outer space. And not only outer space, but the stars are closer. The outside of the ship is closer. I mean, it feels like that if you look down that you're gonna fall because there's just stars. It's the most beautiful thing. It's amazing. And whether you're a baby boomer who's actually saw the moon landing or whether you're, someone who was even older when the moon landing, go. Please go. Because
Absolutely.
I mean, this is what your dreams were made of as a child. This is what your dreams are made of. And if you have kids and grandkids, go and take them because this is an experience that you guys will cherish for the rest of both of your lives.
How many more times do you think you'll go?
I have at least one more planned for work. And I'm hoping to take another personal visit. I'm hoping to convince another one of my friends to go. So, yeah.
And I think you're a good example. You have to go multiple times to see everything because you rarely, I mean, I'm sure you've seen a few of the same things a few times, but there's so many orbs in there that your at least experience will feel different however you take that path through that space. And you mentioned photos and videos, and we went on a media preview night for Max, and Annie and I went, and it was really awesome. And I took some videos and photos, but it's just like people walking around with headsets. So I was like, I don't even know what to do with this.
I don't even know what
this is useless content.
This is not. This makes everyone look super weird and like this is not as cool as it is. Yeah. No, I've been 4 times with 4 separate groups. It was not. It was my fault twice.
Half the times.
2 other times, it was not my fault. I won tickets, but it was a really good experience because the first time I didn't know what to expect, and I actually was like screaming the first time because like I was so excited. I know, shocking.
Never.
But
Never.
and I was like, oh, and like a lady came over. She's like, "Ma'am, are you okay?" Oh, sorry. Am I loud? My bad. Anyways, but so then the second time I knew what to expect more, so I went towards more of the globes, and then I found out the best part, the secret. Here's the secret in the sauce. The whole thing's amazing, but the secret in the sauce is going outside of the spaceship and touching the orbs that are outside the spaceship because they're literally like out in space, and it's
That's where the astronauts are floating around, and you can see more of those
insane.
stars and
Yes.
those views of Earth. Looking
Yes.
back at Earth is
yes.
unbelievable. So.
It is wonderful. So, but you have to go multiple times because the first time you really don't know what you're doing.
Right.
And then the second time you're like, okay, I know what I'm doing. But then the third time you're like, but there's more orbs out there. And I don't know about the fourth time. The fourth time, I'm not gonna lie. I was like knee deep in this audiobook.
Yeah.
So I actually listened to the audiobook and didn't actually listen to the people talking. I just viewed it. So it was like a whole different experience because like I was making up my own content of what the people were saying just from like my imagination.
What's your book about?
Oh, the book was about not anything to do with space.
Okay, fair enough. That's the question.
Anything to do with space.
So you're like, oh yeah, this makes sense.
No. It was so there's
Subscribe to the Patreon to hear more about the book.
Yeah, there is the book was definitely on Earth, even underground in some portions.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Now, another place that you think is out of this world, and watch the mics here.
know,
You gotta watch the equipment
failing.
here.
I'm gonna put the water over here.
Okay.
I got this.
You're totally good. Another place that you think is completely out of this world here in Midland, and it's somewhere we haven't talked about yet on the show, but I think it highlights some of the shopping you could do downtown is Ways to Wellness.
Yeah, Ways to Wellness is my jammy jam. I have been going to
spot.
Ways to Wellness since they were in the old the old building.
Yeah.
They were yeah, it was a smaller, more intimate space, but they very quickly had to bust it out of the seams because people found out that it was some good stuff.
And they offer different services and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah,
so.
they offer services. They offer services like Reiki and massage and things like that. And then they also have gemstones and they have essential oils. They have like nasal sprays, people have allergies and stuff like that. So they have different nasal things that'll help with that. They have different necklaces. They have an amazing selection of tea. They have a lot of like loose leaf tea and stuff like that. But it's just a very peaceful and calm space. And that's the goal there is to bring peace and calm. And, I think sometimes we lose our way and sometimes things just seem so out of whack. And that's just a place of, like a peace and calm that you can like go and find a couch or a bag of tea or, something to hold, while your fingers are, anxiously going,
Absolutely. And sometimes we need a little bit of peace and wellness at the end of a long day. And we already mentioned your days are looking different depending on whatever you're up to. But some of your core work is with Adoption Option.
Yeah.
So what role do you currently hold at Adoption Option?
So I do fundraising and marketing at Adoption Option. And that means I love me some events. And and that's going to events, that's planning events, that's getting to the events and putting on the show. The whole nine. I love events. I'm a chamber ambassador, and I love going to ribbon cuttings. I love going to Wake Up Midland. Wake Up Midland's my favorite. I hate mornings. I am not a morning person, but Wake Up Midland is not really a morning thing. It's like a energy thing. It's like when you walk through the door, you know that you can yell as loud as you want. Maybe it's just me, but you know that you can yell as loud as you want to and scream and make noise, and it's going to be okay. People are going to do it with you.
And it's hundreds of your friends are there.
Yes.
And I love looking back on the photos of Wake Up Midland, too,
Yes.
because they always see the joy on the faces. And what's cool too is JNC Media, who puts on our show.
Yes.
They also provide photography at Wake Up.
Exactly.
So they're doing great work, and it's fun to go look and see what kind of moments are captured. And you're
Yeah.
always good for a woohoo at Wake Up Midland.
Oh,
So
yes, woohoo and me. It's one of my faves.
And Adoption Option now. How long have you guys been around?
Yeah, so this is our 21st year, and we celebrated our 20th anniversary last year, and it was amazing. We had jambalaya and jazz, and that was really the send off to it.
I love
So,
jambalaya and jazz.
Yeah.
It was a great event.
Yeah, so it was great. But yeah, ribbon cuttings, Wake Up Midland, the after hours. I really love the after hours because you get a different crowd than you do at Wake Up Midland sometimes. You know, a
Yeah.
lot of people from Wake Up come, but sometimes you can make one because you got kids, and so you can't make the other and things like that. So you get to see a different crowd of people, and sometimes people are less, they feel less assuming, like after work, they can come from work, they had
Yeah.
a long day, whatever, you're just getting a couple, pieces of food to eat and things like that. So
Yeah, and you're always the heart and soul of these events too. And like I said, jambalaya and jazz. We talked a lot about the jambalaya in our
Yeah.
household, but I miss the banana pudding from Proper Taco even.
Yes,
And
yes.
it's just always a cool collection of folks that are there, and it's
Yes.
for a really good cause. So what's at the heart of Adoption Option, and where did Adoption Option come from?
Yeah, so Adoption Option came from my mother, actually. It was her brainchild, her vision. And she started getting the Mayor book in the mail, Michigan Adoption Resource Exchange. It's all the children in Michigan whose parental rights have been terminated and are awaiting adoption. And it's a photo listing of children with hobbies and a description of them wanting a family. And it was just really gut-wrenching for her. And she couldn't continue to look at it. So she decided to form a nonprofit to help children. And with my father's help, she was able to start this nonprofit. And they have been at it for 20 years. He's been on the board, and she has been on the board and been the CEO. And we started out just doing adoption and some minimal foster care, and now we do adoption, foster care, and licensing foster parents. And then we also do another side, which is family preservation, where we go in the home and work alongside the biological parents. So if their children are in foster care, we can help them get their children back out of foster care and back into the biological home. And then we also have a program in Midland that we just started last year, and it's called PREP, Parent Resource Education Program. And it's for anyone in the community who has children ages 0 to 6. They can get a free parenting course in-home, and it's available, like I said, to anyone in the community, anyone who, they can do self-referral, community referral, they could be referred by a doctor, they could be referred by a friend, a coworker, it doesn't matter. They could just feel like they need extra help. So, if anyone's out there listening and they have children in the 0 to 6 range and they feel like they need a little extra help, Adoption Option is here for you. We don't just help people who are in need. We help people who, feel like they need help too. We're here for families and we're here for children, and we want to make sure every family and every child succeeds. So we also have a youth in transition program where we help children from the 14 to 23-year-old age range up to their 24th birthday. And it provides them a mentor that meets with them twice a month, and then we do monthly events with them. We just recently started STEM Days as well, and we're working on doing some community partnerships with upcoming community partners, so we're excited about those. And then we have a life skills program for teens as well that, again, are not in the foster care system, but, the pandemic hit our teens hard. And,
Big time.
They need a little extra support. And so we want to be there to provide that extra support because, as we said, we're not just a hub for foster care children and for adoptive children and for foster care and adoptive parents, but bio parents and bio children and people who have family problems. We want to be a source. We want to be a child welfare hub for the Midland community.
You guys are doing a lot, and it just shows what can happen with steady growth and commitment to a cause. And I'm sure it's tough work, and I'm sure every day has its own challenges, but some days have their own celebrations as well. So I know yesterday even you were at out taking pictures at a very special event. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so I was at a finalization hearing yesterday, and that's how I started out at Adoption Option. Actually, was taking pictures of finalization hearings, and a finalization hearing is the last hearing in a child's life when the judge signs the paperwork saying you are officially this person's child. So, Kevin, congratulations, it's a boy. And whether this boy is 10, 15, 3, 2, 18, it doesn't matter. This boy is finally yours. And the reason that we went and take pictures is because it's a state of Michigan law that foster children aren't allowed to have their picture taken. And it sounds very sad, and it is very sad, but it's also for the protection of the children.
Safety concerns there.
We have to be first primarily concerned with our children. And with the advent of cell phones, it's gotten better. Kids have their ability to take their own pictures and capture their own lives and things like that. But when I started 20 years ago.
5 or 6 years ago, I mean, there's no way, right? There's no way it's been 20. There's no way.
When I started 20 years ago, there was that law was still in effect and is still in effect today. And you could not... you couldn't have a lot of pictures. And so us taking pictures at the finalization hearing was like a baby book for the kids. No matter the age, it was like a baby book that like today is the first day that we're all a family and it's legal and it's binding and it's forever and we're here and here's a memory of it. And so that's what we did for that family yesterday. And they were up in northern Michigan. And so I had a little bit of a drive ahead of me, but it was completely worth it to see. I mean, it was a beautiful drive yesterday. Yesterday was gorgeous. There was no snow. There was just light and beauty.
By the time everyone hears this, there's gonna be a foot of snow on the ground
right?
again.
Right?
We're in fake spring.
We're in fake spring. But anyways, so I went up there and I took pictures, and the judges, people always think of judges as very serious and hard-nosed people. And don't get me wrong, judges are very serious, and it's a very serious thing to be a judge. But this is the one time where you see judges just crack like an egg. They deal with so much hard stuff, and they deal with so much ugliness, and especially in the family courtrooms, there's just so much heartache and heartbreak. And so this is a day of just complete joy. And it's like they can't even hold it inside. Their faces light up. They smile. They're excited. They're joking with the kids. They're smiling at them. They're giving them stuffed animals. The couple, one judge or two has a treasure chest in the back of their thing, which I'm sure, for what? But it's literally for adoption day. They have the kids come up behind them and they open the treasure chest, and then there's tons of stuffed animals and stuff like that. So that's the way that I picture the judge, because it's, everybody has joy inside, and people don't get to show that joy often. But on these days, the judges just are filled with so much joy and so much hope that all of the bad things they had to do were not in because the child's here now. The child's got a loving
celebration.
Home. The child's got a forever family. So that's what we celebrated yesterday, a forever family.
And those are the days that you find that reward, and you can kind of go home at the end of the day and live in that and remember that. An adoption option is doing so much work compared to 20 years ago when this is just an idea, right? And 21 years ago, sorry.
Right.
When this is just an idea, right? So what's next for Adoption Option? What do you guys have on the calendar? And, what does the rest of 2025 look like for you?
Yeah, so we have Give Local Midland coming up. And since Give Local Midland's coming up, pickleball's coming up. Yeah, so we have a pickleball tournament that we use to do a little pre-fundraising for Give Local Midland. And we get to tell a whole bunch of people who play pickleball about Adoption Option. We get to tell a whole bunch of people who play pickleball about Give Local Midland, about the 70 other nonprofits they could possibly support. I don't know what the number is, but that it was around there 20 years ago.
No, this is going to be, I think, our 7th Give Local Midland, 7th or 8th.
Yeah.
maybe even more than that. But since its inception, Give Local tops out at around 70 nonprofits each year.
Yeah.
And for folks out there that don't know what Give Local Midland is, Give Local Midland is a 24-hour fundraising day for nonprofits that hold endowment funds at the Midland Area Community Foundation. So if folks are unaware of what an endowment fund is, an endowment fund is those funds that really grow over time and allow long-term sustainability for local nonprofits. So nonprofits a lot of times are raising money for operational costs, which is very, very, very important, and our nonprofits need us more than ever. And there's a lot of great work in that space, but it's the one day a year where nonprofits can really invest in their future and that long-term sustainability, because the way those funds are set up, you can only utilize those funds so much a percentage each year. So it keeps growing and growing and growing. And for us at the Midland Area Community Foundation, it's just a great way to keep growing those funds for our local nonprofits. It's one 24-hour day, and it usually gets almost $500,000 in community impact in 24 hours, which is just awesome. And nonprofits are competing for prizes, and
the prizes.
The prizes are important.
About the prizes.
All about the prizes. So that's where that extra money comes into play, and you can watch the ticker all day. And we love Give Local Midland, and for me, it's
and the ticker.
The ticker.
It's definitely about the ticker.
Definitely about the ticker. So it's a lot of fun. So looking forward to playing some pickleball with Adoption Option. So that will be a really good time for all of y'all.
So we have the pickleball tournament coming up, and then we have jambalaya and jazz in November, because November is Adoption Month. Go Adoption Month.
Woohoo!
And so we'll have jambalaya and jazz, and we usually have 10 to 15 restaurants come out, cook jambalaya, gumbo, comfort food, desserts, live jazz band at a silent auction. We had a raffle last year, and it's a pretty great time and a great way to meet new people and raise funds for a great cause. You know, adoption is wonderful. Foster care is wonderful. Licensing, family preservation, they're all great. But even though we have some state contracts, the funding is not always all there. You know, the state does a great job at providing, but kids are expensive, you know, and they're unmet needs. And so these fundraisers give us the ability to, when our kids come with unmet needs, or when our parents come with unmet needs for themselves, for the house, for the kids, we're able to meet those needs and meet them where they're at, and help them push forward and not face more barriers to being a happy, healthy family.
Adoption Option's doing a lot of great work for our youth, and I know that's not just a passion point of Adoption Option as an organization, but it's also a passion point of Jacqueline Leapheart as well. And I want to talk a little bit about your tutoring, and it really reminded me when you mentioned throughout your conversation about Adoption Option and your assistance with teenagers in that space. There's another great organization in town that I think does so much to help out our teens and our young people in general, and that would be the Legacy Center.
Yes.
And I know that you act as a tutor over there, and
I do.
I look back on the assets provided by the Legacy Center all the time, and I know that they're getting ready to embark on a program where they're doing them across a lifespan, which is really incredible.
That's exciting.
And folks can explore that on the resources tab of the Maxwell's Midland site. But I want to talk to you about your tutoring, because you lit up when we talked about it, just real authentically excited about this work that you're doing in that space. And I want to know more about it.
Yeah, no. The boy that I tutor is one of the great loves of my life. He is amazing. I have been with him for 2 years, and he is a joy. And he is probably the most stable thing in my life. Let me tell you, I believe in that young man, and so I make it a point to see him twice a week to the best of my ability. It is not always possible with my schedule and his, but we do our best. And I really believe in him and want to see him through to graduation. It's his freshman year this year, and I've been so excited for him. He's grown leaps and bounds in middle school, and even as a freshman this year, he's gone out for the school play. He's gone to homecoming. He's just really blossoming, because he doesn't talk a lot, which I know, right? They place me with a kid that doesn't talk a lot.
Yin and Yang's a thing. Yin and Yang is a thing.
God was bored that day. He was like, I haven't seen a good comedy in a while.
Yeah, let's figure this one out real quick. Let's see how this goes.
But he's a very quiet young man, and he So when he went out for the school play, both me and his mom were just floored. And I mean, I showed up that night, and if I could have had the biggest bouquet of flowers, I would have. But me and his mom decided, since he was a a young man, a teenager, that we should probably not get him flowers. So we got him like a big basket, and I like put candy in it and stuff like that. So it was pretty cool because it was like a candy basket. But like, I mean, it was huge.
Yeah.
But it was I was so thrilled. I was, and when he made the play, I was just like, I was in tears. I didn't know what to do. I was like, I've been teaching this boy how to read, how to read better for the past couple of years, and now not only does he feel that he can read better, he feels that he can read good enough to go out for a school play and memorize lines and say them in front of people. Who are you? And where did you come from? And what? I mean, I had never been more proud of like a moment. And like, I'm not a mom. But I could have never been more proud of anything in my life, because it was just like, he was breaking out of a shell. And don't get me wrong, he went back in his shell, and he's still a very quiet young man. But I mean, he tried out for the second school play and is a part of that now too. And so I think he's finding his tribe, and I'm so proud of him for branching out and for reaching out, and for his brothers are really into sports and stuff like that. So that's where they live, and I feel like he might live here, and I'm really excited. And his mom also told me he's shown an interest in photography, and so I was like, well, can I come get him and like take him to Dow Gardens or the Chippewa Nature Center and like go on a photography adventure? And she's like, yeah, anytime. And I'm like, don't threaten me with a good time. And she's like, no, seriously.
So you're like tutoring him in another area now.
Yes. So I'm thrilled about that. But yeah, I mean, he was one of the reasons, one of the infinites. I won a pair of tickets, and so I took him. And I was a little afraid because he's very shy, he's very quiet, he doesn't say much, and so I wasn't sure how he was going to take it. But he loved it. I mean, the visuals were just stunning for him, like they are for everybody else. And so, like his mom texted me the next day, and she's like, he's still talking about it and stuff like that. And I'm like, anything that makes him talk is all right with me. Like, I am excited, so. Yeah, he's wonderful. I mean, he has taught me so much. He has taught me patience. He has taught me patience. So much patience. Like I said, he doesn't talk a lot. And in the beginning, I think that they told me that, but like, I think that like just the rationale of that doesn't actually register in my head of like not talking a lot. I feel like there's like levels of not talking a lot, but like but like the boy that I tutor is like a sensei master at like not talking, like Master Splinter, in the good old days with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles meditating for hours. Like, that's him. Like, he can just. And so, like, I had to learn, though, that this was him. He wasn't doing this to frustrate me. He wasn't doing this to ignore me, which are things that went through my mind initially. I'm like, are you just ignoring me? Is this? But like, he's a child. He's not an adult. This is not malicious behavior. Like, this is him, making his way in the world.
Figuring it out.
Figuring it out. Like, he's not a talker. He's a thinker, and I have to accept that. My dad's a thinker, so I love my father, but I would do a lot better if I thought more.
When you're helping this young man out with all of these incredible skills, and when we feel like we're closing those gaps in our life and just feel more a part of something, we can feel more included, we can feel more seen, we can feel more heard, and definitely appreciate the work that you're doing there. Yeah. So,
well, I tell everybody about my little boy that I tutor, because everybody should have a little boy that they tutor. Everybody should have a little girl that they tutor. Like, it is literally a life-changing experience, and I feel like everybody should tutor. Like, it's 2 hours of your week. You have 2 hours, and you can make a life-changing difference to a family, to a child. the boy that I tutor, he has amazing parents, and I think I talked to his mom about as much as I talked to my mom because we're coordinating schedules. She has three sons to coordinate, so there's always moving parts in her household. But like she's a wonderful person, and her husband's a wonderful person. And they do amazing job with those boys. But sometimes you just need a little extra help. Somebody needs to need a little extra help. And like I've become part of the family. Like I'm friends with his grandma, and like his parents have sent me home with dinner one night. They're like, we've got too much. I don't know how you have too much with 3 boys. But they said they had too much, so they sent me home with dinner one night. We've tutored at the ice cream shop. We've tutored at the park. So yeah.
And it's good to have those extended families and those additional people around you that you can really rely on and find your place with. And I know that you have a few other additional like extended families, and sometimes at the Midland Area Community Foundation, one of your families meets there, and that would be the Delta Sigma Theta sorority.
Yes.
And y'all have just the best personalities, and sometimes I'll come in and have to help you with a little bit of technology, but
Yes,
that
Kevin.
happens every now and then. But I want to know a little bit more about your involvement there.
Yeah, so I'm the secretary of my chapter at Delta Sigma Theta sorority of the Midland Alumni Chapter, and it is a historically Black sorority, and it has collegiate and alumni chapters, and membership in Delta Sigma Theta is a lifetime commitment. And so once you join a collegiate chapter, you're expected to join an alumni chapter afterwards. And so that's what I did after I graduated college. And I've been part of the Midland Alumni Chapter since 2007. I graduated in 2007? Yeah, I think I graduated in
Don't say it on air. 2017, I get it. And y'all are a very activated group, and you're extremely active in the community.
Yeah.
And I think that's absolutely great. And we know
Yeah,
that
we just had a STREAM program, which is not STEM, because STEM is not the only thing that's important. STREAM is also important, and STREAM is science, technology, reading, engineering, arts, and math. Because reading and arts are important, because you think science is important, but you can't do science if you can't read. Okay, so reading is important too.
reading is
fundamental.
very important.
Yes.
And we talked a little bit about your time at that specific event. And growing up in Midland, you said that representation wasn't always present, like when you were in high school or people that you saw. But I think you met someone at that event, and you just lit right up. So I have to know, like, what was that like for you as a lifelong Midlander?
Yes. So as a lifelong Midlander, I love Midland. I absolutely.
We can't question that, Jackie. We know you do.
Love Midland. But one thing that I did not see growing up very often was Black teachers or Black doctors in my community. I did have a wonderful 5th grade teacher named Mrs. Wallace, who was a Black lady, and she taught at Cook School.
And it always comes back to
Always
Cook. Comes back to Cook.
Anyways, vote for the Midland Public Schools bond. It's important to keep our schools going. Anyways, no, but she was a wonderful teacher. But I met 2 African women at this event that we did, and they are both Black female primary care physicians in Midland, and I was stunned. I was elated. I was floored. I was speechless. I texted and called everyone I knew. I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm gonna have a Black female doctor. I never imagined in Midland I could have a Black female doctor, but I might have a Black female doctor. And it's not important, but it is.
It is.
It's important to be able to go to the doctor and see someone that looks like you, who could have had the same problems as you, who has the same body type as you, same, lifestyle issues as you, same genetic problems as you. And, someone, I'm not saying there aren't good doctors that look at every spectrum of the board, because I have had good doctors that got me this far, and I am so thankful for all of them. But I'm also so excited to go to the doctor and see someone that looks like me. Just the thought of it. Like, I'm not going to lie. I kind of can't wait to get sick so I can go to the doctor.
Well, it's
Too
such,
bad winter is gone. Doggone it.
it's such an important thing to talk about, though, because we can provide lip service all day to say that we want to address these challenges of being a place that is more inclusive and address that directly. But unless you are providing cultural scenarios where somebody can feel at home, you're not really doing that. So when we have somebody in that type of position that is now living in Midland, that shows there's representation here,
Yeah.
and I can feel comfortable in this space,
Yeah.
and that is just so fantastic. So when you told me that yesterday, I thought about it like all evening, and I said that's just such an important moment and
Yeah.
such an important experience to have,
Yeah.
and that's great. And we're really excited to have you here to talk a little bit more about something else as well. And when I talked to you about your favorite places in Midland, we mentioned the Center for the Arts and we mentioned Ways to Wellness, but there was a place that you actually mentioned before that, and you said, I love being at home on my couch watching my comfort flicks. And so it led into a logical way that we would go with the draft today. But interestingly enough, I had to put a parameter around you, though, because I think you would have chose 5 shark movies. So what is it with you in shark movies?
I think that it's because part of it's not the shark. The sharks are, not gonna lie, the sharks are pretty, but like it's the whole, like it's like being underwater. Like I said, I was a swimmer growing up, and it's like I get to spend like 2 hours like underwater in like the fish and the coral and the blue. It's the blue for me. Like, it's all so magical. It's like living underwater.
So if I would have said, because you'd pick 5 shark movies in a row here, you'd be like, just name them off. It's like you're hanging out with Samuel L. Jackson watching Deep Blue Sea, and I don't know. I don't know if we can do 5 shark movies. So I said you can pick a couple if you want to.
No, I diversified my list. I got this.
So here's what we do on the show with the draft. You'll go first. You'll do first pick, and then I'll have my first pick. If we overlap for some reason, which I have a feeling we might not, but if we do, we have to deviate and go with something else. So I'm curious, what is your number 1 pick for your comfort flick?
Anaconda 2.
Anaconda 2.
Yes.
Anaconda 2. So I still remember the original Anaconda. I don't even know if I can recall Anaconda 2.
Anaconda 2 had Morris Chestnut in it.
Okay. So that's the draw for you?
It could be.
How many times you watched Anaconda 2?
I own Anaconda 2.
Okay, fair enough. You pop the DVD in. Is it VHS? Do you watch it on VHS?
I own it on Apple TV.
Okay, fair enough. So, Anaconda 2, pick number 1. So, I'm going to go with this one that people think I'm ironic about this. It's not. It's a really stupid movie, but I think it's a piece of cinematic masterpiece. I'm going to go with Hot Rod with Andy Samberg.
Never seen it.
It's a dumb comedy from the early 2000s, and Andy Samberg was on Saturday Night Live, and it's a troupe of him and his friends made this movie. And if you've heard of The Lonely Island, I'm on a boat with T-Pain. So that specific song, it's those guys made that movie. Okay. So I just think it's like friends making a flick, and it's just unbelievably ridiculous. Mm-hmm. And for me, coming from a filmmaking background, it's just kind of interesting to be like, you can just go out and make whatever you want with your buddies. So that's kind of where I came from with that. So what do you have for number 2 for me?
Congo.
Congo. Explain Congo for us.
Congo is by Michael Crichton, and it's actually a book, and it's an amazing book, and it's so good of a book. I'm still mad at Michael Crichton. I know Michael Crichton's gone, but it's okay. It's so good of a book that when I listened to the book, I stopped and started Googling the character, like the main character, while I was reading the book, because I was so amazed at the magnitude of just magnificence this woman had. Like, she was like a math scholar, and I'm always amazed at science people because I'm not a science person. And so, like, anybody who's a science person, I'm just like...
Anything in that stream sector, right?
That STEM sector. I can do the stream.
Stream,
STEM,
yep.
So, but I was just looking up this woman. She's like this math scholar and everything like that, and she doesn't exist. Michael Crichton had me over here Googling this woman for like an hour who did not exist.
Like, it's my icon. It's like,
I'm like, who is she? Where is she? I want to meet her. I want to study her. No, she doesn't exist. It's just a character this man made up in his head.
It's good writing.
I mean, he is a phenomenal writer. If you have never read the Jurassic Park books, there are 2, and they are life changing as well. But so, anyways, I've always liked the Congo book, and then I listened to the audio. I've always liked the movie, and then I listened to the audiobook and fell more in love with the movie. But it's a movie about gorillas, and again, I think it's a similar thing to Anaconda and Meg, where in Anaconda they're also in a rainforest.
Yeah.
And in Anaconda 2 they're in like Indonesia or the Philippines, or there's some Thailand, something like that. They're in a remote area, like traveling down a stream to find like orchids, and then everything goes bad because the anacondas have found the orchids as well. It's not good. But the Congo,
Everything goes really bad.
Everything goes super
really
bad. Really bad, really fast. Anyways, and so then the Congo, yeah, it's slightly similar. They're trying to take Amy home, but actually she's trying to like rescue these people who went to go get diamonds, and the monkeys kind of went crazy. Bad things happen. Everybody gotta go. There was a volcano.
Congo, get it on Apple TV today.
Yes, get it on Apple TV today. Great.
So my second pick, I think my list is starting to get really tropey. Like it's gonna be like a meme, like a dumb dude list. But I can't let a list go by without picking a Fast and Furious movie. I'm not gonna pick what I think the best Fast and Furious movie is, but like we're talking just something you turn on and replay.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was younger, I'd throw this DVD in all the time. I'm gonna go with Too Fast, Too Furious.
Oh no!
This one takes place in Miami. Introduces Ludacris, introduces Tyrese. It was missing Vin Diesel, but you know it's okay. We get him for 1,800 more movies after that, and we only get this collection for the first time there. So I have to go with Too Fast, Too Furious. And you know, hey, it's just too exciting, right? Okay. What do you have for number 3 for me? We finally getting a shark movie?
I guess. Meg.
Mm-hmm. I've never seen Meg, so I know what Meg is.
First of all, it's got Jason Statham in it, and you're just missing out on life because he is beautiful.
A Fast and Furious legend, of course.
He is beautiful. He is. He just be so serious, like in this movie, he like literally dives in because a woman's being eaten in a cage by a shark, and he's like, "I got this," and he just like pulls on his wetsuit and dives in after her, and you're like, she's getting eaten by a shark. What are you gonna do? Like,
hey man,
it doesn't matter.
Bald head first, he can swim really fast.
Jason Statham, and he is about to save this woman from a shark, and that is exactly what he does. He pulls this woman out of the shark's mouth and gets her back to the boat. And that's the kind of energy I need in my life. A man that will jump in a 20-foot shark. Like, baby,
You're like, the bar is here. Your boyfriend's listening. It's like, I gotta go save you from a shark.
He's like, I'm in the boat, bro. Yeah. I don't know why you got in the water. Like, why were you in the water?
Feels like a bad, poorly calculated risk. It's like rollerblading out of nowhere after 20-something years. You know, you talked about Jason Statham. What a hero. I'm going to talk about another hero. My third movie is a Will Smith movie.
Okay.
I'm going with Hitch.
Yes.
Hitch. It sets the gold standard for romantic comedies.
Yes. Love a good romantic comedy.
Extremely tropey. It's like both poorly written and phenomenally written.
Phenomenally written all the same time.
So it's got everything you need, but replayability was the number one thing there.
Yes.
There's a lot of replayable Will Smith movies, like Men in Black you can watch over and over again, Independence Day. iRobot is great, can be watched over and over again. He's got some heavier flicks too. Like, I'm not trying to pop on Pursuit of Happiness every day or anything.
Oh no. I only watched that movie once.
Yeah.
It's never gonna.
That's all we need. Good. So what do you have for number 4 for me?
I guess we're going to stick with Meg 2.
Meg 2, back to back.
Yes. Jason Statham comes back and
he's a robot. No, I'm kidding.
He's even more amazing because in this one, the little girl's mom who he saved and, was absolute mush with the little girl. I don't know how Jason Statham was mush, but he was just mush with this little
Rob should have got an Oscar for this one.
Little 5-year-old Asian girl who's like, are you the crazy man? And like he falls for her like right there.
Of course.
And so then he comes back in the next movie, and of course her mom has died. Clearly, probably some tragic shark accident.
Whoa, spoiler alert.
I know. But so she's all grown up, and so the movie is about her relationship with Jason Statham. And so like he's like
Protecting her
and loving her as dad. And she's like, promise me you'll come back. And he's like, you know I love you. And then he runs off.
to fight a shark.
Yeah, to like fight a shark with like a harpoon and like some explosive attached to it. And he's just gonna like throw it at the shark and the shark's gonna explode. It'll be fine. And we're like, Jason, what are you doing? Like, this is a 40-foot shark. And you have a harpoon
You cannot
and some
fight this thing.
explosives and a jet ski. Does this seem like it's gonna work? No, but since it's Jason, it does.
You know, hey, this draft is going so well. I think we need our own like public access TV show
Yes,
where we
for
just talk
sure.
movies. Number 4 for me, I'm going to go with a movie that I think is phenomenally written. I think it's really well made. This movie is on the list, I think probably the best movie that I have here in terms of the product that it put out. But 500 Days of Summer with Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Zoe
Never
Deschanel.
saw it.
Really, really good movie. And when we're talking about the 500 days, they're like jumping forward and going backward and kind of telling the story of a relationship from multiple different angles. So they'll
Is
switch
it
and show
multiple years?
perspectives.
Because there's not 500 days in summer.
Well, her name is Summer. So it's his 500 days of dating Summer. So it's this idea
But you
of...
kind of know it's going to end then, right? If it's only 500 days
Exactly.
of dating
So,
summer. 'Cause
yeah, you get to see
kinda
that
like a
journey,
year and a
though.
half.
You get to see that
That's
journey.
sad.
So it's a really, really good movie. I think it's extremely well written and well made. So
I'm not going to lie. It's kind of how I feel about Wicked. I was trying to watch that this weekend. I told you. And like, you know, we know that she's going to die and that everybody hates her. Like, why are we watching this movie to all fall in love with her? Then we're going to hate her. And I've been having some real emotional trials.
Did you finish the movie?
No, not yet.
Okay, so
I'm not there yet. But like,
okay. Gotta finish
everybody
it out.
was like super celebrating about this woman's death. And like, I know we did when we were children, but like now as an adult, it feels really kind of mean.
It's you gotta stick hang with it here. Hang with it. So
I'm
we
working
hang
on it.
with it. It'll change up a little bit for you, but you know, you got to get past Ariana being so mean.
She's really mean.
Got to get past Ariana being mean, and then you'll be able to get through it.
Okay.
So number 4 for you is not Wicked then. No. Or number 5, I guess, would be your final one.
Yes. My final one would be Jurassic Park.
First person ever to name Jurassic Park
Currently-
5.
4.
4.
Yes.
Number 4.
Currently 4. Yes.
Why 4?
Because we get introduced to the beautiful Bryce Dallas Howard and Chris Pratt, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt. And, you know, like, they are a great couple. Freaking fantastic. We have the 2 little boys like we did in the first movies,
Yep.
you know, getting into all this crazy tomfoolery, but they have like the brotherly love moment, and I'm really kind of here for it. And then, you know, the Raptors are the good guys, and she has that scene where she's like, open gate 9. And he's like, what? Gate 9? And she's like, be a man. He's like, why'd you have to make it personal? And then she's like running with the torch, and she's, you know, the T-Rex is behind her and she's in heels. And somehow she's made it in heels through the jungle and through, like, natural disasters.
You're like, I thought maybe you wouldn't like it because it's too unrealistic. You can't make it through that in heels.
But that's my scene. And then when the Mosasaurus, like, finally comes and gets him, I'm like, yes.
So, my number...
Oh,
Did you miss one?
I missed something.
What'd you miss?
Godzilla Kong. I really love Godzilla Kong right
Honorable
now.
mention to
Yes,
Godzilla Kong.
honorable mention to Godzilla Kong.
So number 5 for me, I'm going to go with a documentary. I watch a lot of documentaries, so I had to put one on the list, and I was trying to go through them, and I'm going to go with, it's a Netflix doc about Woodstock 99. It's called Trainwreck.
Oh.
I've had this weird thing with Woodstock 99 since I was a kid.
Okay.
It happened when we were kids. But Woodstock 99 was just a festival that went completely downhill. 3 days of just bizarro activity. Not like Firefest. The festival actually happened, but
Yeah.
these large acts got on stage and was just it was just, it really captured the angst of the late 90s and where we were as a climate, probably politically, but socially, and the themes that were in that. So, I mean, the big artists that were on stage, DMX started the festival, but then in terms of like the artists that really had to go on, like Limp Bizkit with Break Stuff, they were tearing apart the festival grounds, burning things. Red Hot Chili Peppers are like covering Fire by Jimi Hendrix, and there's a giant fire in the outlaw, and people unfortunately did die.
Oh, no.
But it was just an absolutely bizarro fest, and ever since I was a kid, I was like,
feel
Woodstock
when you
'99
go
would have been
from
like
DMX
hype.
to Limp Bizkit.
Kid Rock, Korn,
Something's
like
gonna
just
go.
yeah, it was just
Something's gonna go sideways.
yeah. There's a lot of lessons learned there, so that's what I'm gonna go with my fifth one. Would be Trainwreck, the Woodstock '99
definitely
documentary.
gonna watch this tomfoolery.
You
It
have
sounds
to.
great.
It's unbelievable. So
If I could add an honorable mention to your list,
yeah,
hopefully you haven't seen it, so you have to watch it. But Tu Wong Fu, Thanks for Everything, Julie Newmar.
okay, I like it.
It is a movie with, and it was in the like maybe 90s or 80s, so it was before, everything was so charged. But anyways, it is with John Leguizamo, Patrick Swayze,
Okay.
and Wesley Snipes.
Oh my gosh, that's a lineup.
Here's the best part. They are drag queens.
Perfect.
And literally Patrick Swayze is the prettiest woman you have ever seen in your life. It is not fair that man looks so good as a woman.
Celebrities
and a
get
man.
everything.
It is not fair. I am telling you. But no, it is. And their car breaks down in this like little southern town where being a drag queen is not a thing. But then they help all the wives become a little bit prettier and dress a little bit cuter and do some makeup and show them how to walk for the men and stuff like that. And so it's a cute little thing. And so they turn this little town on its head.
I think what we're doing right now is we're figuring out our own version of. There's a show called The Rewatchables where they rewatch movies and then they have all this criteria they rank it by.
Yes.
So tune in next week for The Rewatchables
Yes.
with Kevin and Jackie. And we'll just challenge each other to new movies each week. And
The
it'll be like-
Max Rewatchables.
The Max Rewatchables.
Yes.
The Max Rewatchables.
A new show has just been born.
Love it. JNC Media's like, this is perfect. We love this. So we're going to close out the show here, and it's been an awesome conversation. I appreciate you sharing some laughs with me and some smiles, but also some really serious conversation about important things. And we're really excited about Give Local Midland and everything that's coming up at Adoption Option. But at the end of the show, we always ask the same thing to each guest, and it is looking forward at the future of Midland. What are you looking forward to for our community?
Yeah, well, I think one thing we didn't talk about was my real estate photography that I do. And one thing that has given me around Midland is the ability to see new structures go up, new commercial buildings,
Yes.
new residential, new condos, revitalizations, when homes get redone. We had our home, not my home, but my parents' home. They got the bathrooms redone a couple of years ago, and they got the kitchen redone. And we had some really good contractors that we worked with. They're part of the chamber. And so I think the revitalization in Midland, the continual people wanting to revitalize and invest in their community. I love Midland Blooms with Emily Lyons. Emily is one of my favorite people in Midland. She's fantastic. But I love her passion for the farmers market and for Midland Blooms and how she gets us all so excited to be out there making Midland look beautiful. And, I think it's important right now to invest in our community and invest in the place we want to live and make it the place we want to live. And Together Forward Bold, we want to be together, and we want to keep including people, and we want to do it boldly. We want to make sure that that you're welcome in Midland and that that everyone's welcome here. So. I'm excited about the continual growth. When I see new buildings going up, new construction sites, I think, ooh, someplace I could take pictures. But then I think, ooh, someplace for us to go.
Yeah.
Ooh, someplace for the community to have. We got a new Aldi's recently and stuff like that. So it's but then also right next to Aldi's is the Valley Plaza and Gimmicks, and they have they've done renovation in there, revitalization in there. They have the laser tag and stuff like that. So that whole arcade has been greatly, I don't know what the word is, but
it's filling gaps, like places for people, right?
Yeah,
and
so
it provides area for community to take place.
Yeah, area for community and for fun, for, hey, what are you doing? Let's go to the arcade, Like, I'm telling you, if you need the best 5 minutes of good, clean fun you've ever had in your life, go to Valley Plaza and get on the bumper cars. Because let me tell you, it will change your life. You will laugh like you've never laughed before. Like, it is the funniest thing.
Staff outing time.
Staff outing time. Or if there's that coworker you want to.
Never, not my coworkers.
Not my coworkers.
Never, couldn't ever.
If someone out there has a coworker that they could go, take them to the bumper cars and then just hit them with the car, and they'll hit you with the car, and then you'll laugh and it'll be funny, and then
it bridges the gap, right?
It bridges the gap. But yeah, and speaking of bridging the gap, one thing you mentioned was the Joy with Jax. I do daily TikTok and Facebook videos that are just meant to inspire people. And I think that's another thing that I love in Midland is that it's full of inspiring people.
Yeah.
And I just want to be one of those inspiring people. So I give a quote every day and a little message to, I won't say preach, but preach unity, preach togetherness, preach lifting each other up.
And you've been doing this for like hundreds of days in a row now.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
I've been doing it since November 26th of last year. So I might have missed a day or two here and there, but I've been pretty consistent. So, and it's been getting great responses on TikTok, and it's not about the likes or the views, it's about the conversations and the people saying positive things back and the people saying, hey, this made me think today, or, hey, I was so frustrated with what's going on, but I'm going to try again tomorrow and stuff like that. And that's what it's about, just coming back together because we're all here and the only way we're going to make it is together.
And you're talking a lot about well-being. I think Coach Snyder would be pretty proud of you right now. So there you go. Well, Jacqueline, thank you so much for coming on today. We really appreciate you having you be a part of the Maxwell's Midland Show.
Thanks.
And thank you all for being a part of the Maxwell's Midland Show. Make sure you're checking out maxwellsmidland.com. Thousands of events have been posted on there. Find your space in the community and find your place to be seen and find your place to be heard and go find those people that you want to gather with. And that's what we're all about on Maxwell's Midland. We're really trying to support that interpersonal infrastructure of Midland. We're doing that through storytelling, doing that through events, and doing that through helping you find your resources. And as we always say at the end of every Maxwell's Midland show, be nice to your soccer coach. You never know if they're going to end up being the county prosecutor. Subscribe wherever you consume media. Maxwell's Midland is your entertainment, resources, and collective improvement hub for Midland County. Plan your next adventure in Midland at maxwellsmidland.com.